call the BME, beginning, middle, and end. Right now we're just going to look at the B, the beginning. Here's what we need in our beginning. We need an introduction. That means we need to introduce our story. Or that's what the beginning does. Okay? We have to describe the setting. Where and when is this happening in your beginning? You need to introduce the characters. Who is in your story? And then you need to explain the situation. Explain, kind of give an intro into what's going to be happening in your story. I'm going to add something else in there that's not here, that we've already worked on. You're going to have a catchy lead in there that's going to make me want to read more. So thinking about that, basically we need to know who's in the story. We need to know where and when it happened, and kind of talk about what your story is going to be about. So I want you to read some of these, and you tell me, do they have a good beginning? So we're just going to, do you see how this is broken into? These are called paragraphs. See how it indents right there? They skip a line, and then the line moves in a little bit. That's to show you where there's a new paragraph. We're going to talk a lot about paragraphs more this year. But right here in the beginning, or right, this first paragraph is going to be their beginning. So let's see if we can answer all those questions. Goodbye, Mom, Sarah and I said. Well, I see the I, so I know that's their personal narrative. We started walking to school. It was Sarah's first day of school. I was happy to be walking her on her first day. Okay? So let's think about what we just learned that's in a good beginning, middle, and end. Did it have a catchy lead?
Yes.
What kind of lead did they use? How did he?
They use, like, when you know,
Dialogue? Talking. See the talking marks? Goodbye, Mom! So they used some dialogue. A little catchy. Did they say who's in the story?
Yeah.
Who's in the story?
Sarah and Mom.
Sarah and I. We don't know who it is, but we know that's the author. Off the course.
Sarah, I, and Mom.
And the mom is in it. Yep, because they said goodbye, Mom. Do we know where they're at?
No. School. Well,
They're-
first they're at home.
They're walking on their way to school. They're starting walking to school. Do we know when?
No.
Well, we do.
First
Look.
day of school.
First day of school.
First day.
So, what do you think about this lead, or this beginning paragraph? They described where and when. They had a lead. They told who the characters were. And they explained the situation. What's the situation? What's this story going to be about?
Sarah's first day of school.
And they're walking on their first day of school. So what do you think about that lead? Tell me, what would you give it, a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Can you do middle? It's a dialogue.
Or middle.
It's okay. It's a dialogue.
Okay. So if you're giving it, let's see, thumbs up, Dakota, what did you like about it then, if you gave it a thumbs up? You know your hand's on the screen. Would you please get it out of the screen?
Trying. It's because.
What did you like about it, Dakota?
It's because the talking notes.
You liked their catchy lead? Goodbye, Mom, Sarah and I said. Okay.
I can do.
You're giving it in the middle, Jennifer? What do you think? Why did you give it middle?
Well, I gave it in the middle because I really like the first part.
The dialogue part?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was thinking that they could write something else about the first day of school.
So you wanted a little more detail about let's see, this part, explain the situation. I agree, actually, with you. I think they could have told us a little bit more detail
Instead of just bye, Mom.
about what the situation is like. What is this story going to be about? So I'm thinking, is the whole story going to be about them walking to school on their first day? Mackenzie, right now you're distracting people around you. So I agree. Let me show you another one. Okay. Okay, here we go. Brat, brat, my dirt bike's engine echoed through the forest of tall evergreen trees. I came to a quick stop at the bottom of a gigantic hill. The hill seemed to touch the fluffy white clouds in the sky. I looked over at Blake as his dirt bike skidded to a halt next to mine. Blake stared at me with his teeth clenched as tight as a boa constrictor, crushing its prey. My eyes were as big as saucers as I hollered, "That is the biggest hill I've ever seen!" So what do we think? Let's think about what does a good beginning have? Did this person tell about where and when this was happening?
Yes.
Where was it?
In the evergreen forest?
Correct. Echoed through the forest of tall evergreen trees. So that's where. Did it tell when?
Yes.
See
He was on
anywhere?
his dirt bike.
You see anywhere that says when? Dakota, would you get with me?
Never knew it was a he in shape.
Tyler, does it ever say when in the beginning there?
At the bottom of the hill?
That's where. I think that that's one thing that's missing here. Is this person needs to say when this was happening. It says where. So where could I add that? Let's see. My dirt bike's engine echoed through the forest of tall evergreen trees. How about on a warm summer
Evening.
day?
Evening.
Now do you know when it's happening?
Yep.
A summer day.
I don't.
Okay.
get the on.
Through evergreen trees. There's my carrot. On a warm summer day. That's when it's happening. It was on a warm summer day. Okay? So I've got, in this beginning, I've got where it's happening and when. Did it have a catchy lead?
Yeah. Then we want to know what you did next.
Had a sound effect lead. Brat, brat. My dirt bike's engine. So that's what the dirt bike's engine sounded like.
Tall evergreen.
What about characters? Did I introduce characters?
No. You and Blake.
I,
and
because it's
Blake.
about me, and
And-
Blake.
Blake.
Okay. Did I explain the situation?
And there's actually
What the
Blakes.
story is going to be about? I kind of
The
did look.
biggest hill. The right.
We came to the hill. I looked over at Blake. Blake stared at me with his teeth clenched, and I hollered, "That's the biggest hill I've ever seen." So I kind of, can you kind of guess what the story's going to be about?
Yeah,
We're at the bottom of the hill.
It makes
We're
me
both
wanna
staring at
read
it.
more.
So I introduced the situation.
Makes
So
me-
I think do you guys figure out this is my lead?
Yeah.
Since I already told you my story.
Yeah.
So I think my lead was mostly just missing when it was happening. I needed to add that in there. So I quickly just did a carrot and added it right there. Okay? So today, boys and girls, you are going to work on your beginning. So you're going to go to your writer's notebook. You're going to
Put the date.
find your first clean page.
Yay.
You're going to write your date, correct?
And your name.
Well, it's your notebook. I don't think you need to write your name. So, Octavian, I want you to listen because I'm going to ask you to repeat these steps for me. Would you turn and look at me, all of you? You're going to open to your first clean page and write the date. I want you to think about a lead that you already wrote because you're going to have to include a lead. And you've already practiced at least 4 different leads. And I want you to work on your beginning of your story. Now, it has to have more than a lead, right? It has to have a catchy lead in it. But what else does your beginning need to include, Jennifer? Who the characters are in your story?
The situation.
The situation, what's going to be happening in this story?
When, where, and why.
Where and when. So it just kind of introduces your story so I can say, oh, okay, this is a story about a girl and a boy named Blake, and they're riding through a forest on a summer day, and they're at the bottom of a hill, and they're looking up at it. And I think probably what's going to happen is they're going to be trying to get up that hill.
Just like you. And wait.
Yes, that's my story. I told